Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilou here on the beautiful island of Kauai, an island that I just love. I adore it. I can't get enough of it. Oh my God, this is the juice is definitely here.
Definitely, this is a juicy place for sure.
Well, I'm very grateful to be sitting next to you today and speak about relationships because it affects all of us. We all have relationships. We're all in relationships, and you've been doing this for 30 years. So there's a few little things that you've understood and some new tools that you want to share with us too, huh?
Oh, definitely. The work has really changed, and my where I'm coming from about what works. You know, most of the old tools don't work anymore. You notice people don't stay together that long.
Yeah.
And so we have all these new incredible tools coming in that work really fast and can drop the old conditioning, and we can get to exactly what we want very quickly these days. Mm-hmm. And so as someone who was trained in psychology, and you know, in the old days we used to have couples make each other feel safe and all that, and it's evolved to such a beautiful space of, number one, we got to be our own soulmates.
Yeah.
And then when we bring wholeness, two people come together in wholeness, anything is possible. What it would be like if our relationships were totally expanding and easy, and each person got bigger from coming together instead of smaller, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Because the old model is kind of like, well, let me figure out what you perceive me to be, and then I'll start folding myself up and trying to fit into that space, and my light turns down, and pretty soon I'm contained, and I don't know why I feel so bummed out. Because I'm not being who I am. Yeah, I'm being who I perceive I think you want me to be. And that just kills relationship. Because we're all here to show up completely as ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so I love relationship as a catalyst for that.
What it brings up, though, is as we are expanding inside of a relationship or any of our relationship, then it sometimes bringing the light brings the darkness too. Oh. And so there are challenges, or I feel sometimes that there can be even some jealousy of within the relationship or from other relationship once things start to work for oneself. Like there is this to deal with, isn't there? There is a shadow work to really work on when we are having those powerful relationships that are essential to our growth. But
well, and that's the key. If you're willing to be brave and become aware of what's getting triggered for you, and use the tools to eliminate some of that, then you can grow. But you know, in the old days, people used to come in and say, could you fix her for me so I can be better? Yeah. Or could you fix him for me so my life turns out? It doesn't work that way. We were going in the wrong door. Yeah. So there's parts of growth is uncomfortable. Yeah. And we call that wrong. And it's not wrong. It's how we learn. And we're not perfect. We're here to learn. And what would it be like if we embraced and saw the value in the downs of the valleys? Mm-hmm. And yes, you're an incredibly gorgeous big woman that's doing a lot of work. You're going to get jealousy coming towards you. And, you know, some of the world is still in this old small self of, and among women, like I've run women's group for years. And in the old days, in my day, women were like, you can't get bigger than me. Let me throw something your way to pull you down, you know. But my women's groups, like I have one that's been going for 10 years now, we celebrate as each of us get bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's so beautiful. Yeah. So the thing with jealousy is you have to be real clear on what's yours and what's someone else's. Mm-hmm. And you have to see, do I feel lighter or heavier with this? That's a way how we know if it's yours or not, and if it's a lie or not. If it's a lie, you're going to feel heavier. If it's the truth, you're going to feel lighter. So you can ask, is this mine? Mm-hmm. If it's not yours, send it back to sender. Yeah. Send it back to the person that sent it, and just let it go. Or it could be the earths, you know. There's so much shifts in the earths right now, you know. And our beautiful Mother Earth is going through her own changes and her own birthing, you know, and shifts and everything. Yeah. So, and she can take a lot, so we can send stuff to the earth too, you know.
Yeah, so is that how you recommend to deal with that? Even though if ourselves, let's say, we feel the jealousy or the anger, or we're being challenged by the other person, how do you best recommend to deal with those emotions that are not very constructive? Or
Well, if you really go in and examine, you know, oh yeah, we're talking to them. I'm so easy to fall into her eyes. You know, if you go in and examine, jealousy comes from scarcity, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not enough. Like we have to be exclusive. We can only love this one person, or you know,
this way,
or this one way. You know, and like I was saying to you earlier, you know, nobody knows what your truth is, and your truth is different than my truth. And my job is to find my truth, and your job is to find your truth. So jealousy is about scarcity and not enough, you know, like if she has it, then I can't. And that's a lie. Feel how heavy that feels? Versus what would it be like if I celebrated her love and her expansion and the joy and ease of her relationship? We both get bigger. And so, you know, we still are, you know, going between the realms of the old self and the new selves and the new ways. And, you know, I've spent years trying to get people to their emotions like that was the highest place. It is not the highest place. Emotions is thoughts, emotions, that's just part of it. But there's an awareness and a communion with all things that takes us to such a more expanded place. Yeah. And I used to think, oh, just getting people into their feelings. We used to beat pillows and scream and all this stuff. But, you know, it's not, there's something much more bigger available. And it's about, you know, being the best we can be, being all we can be. And anybody in our life is going to trigger stuff, but anybody who's worth spending our time with is going to help us evolve, not take us smaller. Yeah.
So what are some of the questions that we can ask ourselves, or something that we can do when these parts are triggered?
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite questions these days, and I'll talk about why we stay in the question, is how much better can it get? And what would it take to make this be easier? Or what would it take for this to be juicier? Yeah. Or what would it take for me to not feel heavy in my body? Yeah. You know? And maybe, and you know what? The truth is, you know, I watch her go around interviewing all these people, and she's discovering and everything, but you can tell in the films she knows. We know our truths way more than we own, right? Right. So we're powerful infinite beings, and we're just being birthed into living the truth of that for ourselves. Yeah. And it's great to have partners around, you know, it's great to have people to share that with us. I mean, it's so important, but it's a choice. We don't have to, you know, yeah. But I'll tell you, to me, relationship will get you to your stuff pretty quick. Yeah. Better than if you live alone and you can just have everything be how you like it, right? Yeah. So how much better so why I ask questions these days, and this is so beautiful, it's from Access Consciousness work, is because when you ask a question, you open to all the possibilities of the world. And we're trained in this culture to go for the answers. Just give me the answers. Just give me the answers. When we get the answers, we close the door. And the universe is up there working to arrange things just to help us out. Like, what would it be like if we could get Lilou all new equipment out of this session? You know, like, what's the possibilities? And then we just keep raising the ceiling of our vision. And we don't have to know the answers. And I just love this part because we don't have to analyze, we don't have to figure it out, yeah. We don't have to tell the stories. Yeah. Because we can just cut through it. And so we go to possibilities, and then we wait, and we trust, and the universe helps us. It's just blowing my mind, the ease and the abundance. Like you coming here to my house. I never dreamed I'd be doing this with you. I watch you and admire you. I didn't even ask for this, but this is what came through working with another client. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be hard.
No.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it has to be easy and really. That's the whole grace, and that's the whole new energy, isn't it? That's what you're discovering throughout your work. That all this can be really easy, and we have been complicating ourselves, and we have been reasoning some things that can't even be reasons, and we have to surrender. We have to surrender and ask those bigger questions.
And we have to welcome the magic.
Yeah.
And when did we decide that we couldn't have magic in our lives? And when did that become voodoo?
Yeah.
Magic is available right now.
Yes.
It just gives me chicken skin, as the Hawaiians say, because it is possible. It's not just an ideal dream. What we have to do is keep clearing out our limitations, keep becoming aware, particularly watching our judgments. Judgments just create separation, limits receiving, and that's the hardest one, because we're always judging ourselves, judging others. That's jealousies, judging. She has more than I do.
Yeah.
It's not true.
And it feels like it's really time also to be authentic and real with ourselves, and speak our truths, because sometimes we are in relationships that are not good for us, that are unhealthy and toxic. We have relationship with ourselves that are not the healthiest. So it's time to really move forward in a vulnerable, authentic way, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I saw her videos on her frustration with her equipment, and it was in her vulnerability that I could love her more, because that is where relationship comes from.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be all shiny and up and peppy all the time, because there are hills and valleys, but being real about it and communicating that with our partners and our friends and our beloved ones, it's so important. That is what intimacy is. It's like when I can reveal myself and you can be present and we can connect and our auras can come together. It's an energetic thing. It's not an analytical thing. That's a problem. We've been doing relationships through our minds. We've been doing God through our minds. We've been doing sex through our minds. No wonder we're so lost. It has nothing to do with our minds. It has to do with this moment, being here right with you and being totally connected. And I like to think of it as communion. Communion, connected without judgment, allowing everything to be as it is. With all things. Oh, woo!
We're in the juice right now. We're flowing. We're sharing this with you. Everybody is marinating in this juice. That's the beauty of this.
I'm so grateful to still be on this planet alive and knowing this information and being able to share people to have more joyous relationships, more ease, and mostly their relationship with themselves and with their higher being or God or whatever spirit, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're all about now, right?
Let's talk a little bit for a second in the bedroom. I feel you're ready for this conversation. And the Juicy co-creators too, huh? The whole letting go and the surrendering. Tell us about that. Lovemaking too is making it's like this communion of the divine. I mean, it's really evolving, isn't it?
Yeah, and boy, you better be in your body, because otherwise you miss the ride. If you're thinking about it, I had this one teacher a long time ago, David Schnarch. He kind of revolutionized sexual education, and he used to have us do eyes open intercourse, and you had to keep this kind of level of intimacy while you were having sex. So I don't know, I think of myself as kind of like an intimacy expert. Oh my God, it was so hard. It was like, we think we want to be seen, but to really be seen takes a lot of guts, a lot of courage. And so it takes a maturity and a willingness to stay in your body and feel the pleasure and really be connected and have communion with another being. That is the best. Isn't it the best?
Yeah. I feel like now it's time to take it again as relationship on a cosmic level, on a way bigger level, beyond the pleasure. I mean, it is the pleasure, but it's an explosion of the senses of the divine. It's an expression of our greatest self, isn't it, in that moment?
So when you really can be there and really show up, that's when God comes.
Yeah.
And that's a real expression of being connected to the mystery. And a lot of times you can find yourself, if you've had a really good beautiful sexual experience. You just cry because you're so full of joy from the release and the connection, the communion with everything. So that can happen in a conversation, that can happen in a sexual act, that can happen in a revealing of your vulnerability, of your frustration about your computer. It can happen anywhere. It's about being real and authentic. And I'm so grateful that we're discovering that we're infinite beings and that our work is just to be here fully as we were born to be. That only I, Jane, can be Jane. That only Lilou can only be. I mean, there's no one else on the planet like her, right? For sure. Or like me. And so I can't be her. She can't be me. What a relief when we can come together and be ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where the magic happens, when we are being ourselves and okay with ourselves, in love with ourselves and all that is. We have to. It's such a beautiful space to be in, and then we can just merely be in somebody's eye and say nothing,
Right.
and all is there.
So that's what we're doing when we do the work, personal work or spiritual work. I call it more consciousness work these days. Is trying to get ourselves out of the way, because that's who we are. That's who we are as love. That's who we are as infinity. These incredible broadcasting machines that are receiving and giving all the time, and it's all here for us just right now. And I know a lot of people are having hard times, and people like to talk about that, but boy, I tell you, in my life, for myself and a lot of the people that I'm working with, it's incredible times, because the gifts are here. We have to be willing to receive. A lot of us healers, givers, teachers, whatever, we're good at giving, but really being able to receive, that sex is good for that too. Really being able to receive and let in, that the universe has our back and that we can ask and get what we need. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's how it is. So it doesn't even have to be hard.
Yeah.
It's just remembering who we are.
Yeah. Would you say that the sexual energy is the same than the spiritual energy? As far as the creation, the manifestation, I mean, it feels like there's a lot of sometimes sex is an answer, and it's and maybe shouldn't always be there, and can be really used and transmuted for us to become our greater selves too on the planet. Like sometimes we use it as a solution or as a band-aid also, instead of a real genuine sacred communion as it should be.
Yeah, well, I don't know about should be, but it sounds like you have a point of view about it, and an experience, a good experience. Anything that takes us in and helps us to know ourselves and love ourselves more and expand more and be connected to the source, to me, is good medicine. Now, if you're using it to avoid something else, like you're just using pleasure to avoid issues that need to be addressed, it's a problem. But, it's like, I'm not here to judge how anybody does their sexual life. That's their business. But I know for my own self, it can be a portal to a really beautiful, very fulfilling, juicy, high space and a connection. But I can get that also by going hiking in Kauai and sitting under a waterfall. You know what I mean? Yes. It doesn't have to be one way for me these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the part that I wanted to address is like how, as we're young, there's a lot of that sexual energy, and it's a lot of also a manifestation energy that we can rechannel and redirect to really help us fulfill our life purpose, instead of just just giving into it easily and not fully manifesting our potential. It feels like it's sometimes initiatory.
Okay, it sounds like you're doing like some tantra stuff of like the waiting and riding the wave, and and really using it for empowering all the creation of your life, which is beautiful. That's a beautiful way to use it. I don't know. That's a very personal matter, and that's up to each individual. But I can tell you found a juicy doorway, and I say if it makes you feel more expanded and connected, hallelujah, really.
Yeah, I was just thinking of, for example, Gary Zukav, that clearly says he used to be a sex addict, and a lot of men of power, a lot of powerful men or women have a huge sexual drive too, and it feels like. Sometimes we can just go, instead of rechanneling that in some other parts of our life, we go towards being unfaithful with our partners, or some things that are just online and not right.
Right. Yeah, it can be a huge distraction.
Yeah.
It could take us way off course.
Yeah.
So any ways that we've used sexuality to limit ourselves or to take us into our smaller selves rather than our expanded selves, can we just destroy and uncreate all that and let that go? Mm-hmm. And to me, sexuality is a gift from God that we can use to reach such a sacred high place. And what would it be like if people wanted to use it for that matter, But that's their business. Yeah.
No, but it's honoring. I feel honoring the sacred, and as women too. Let's go there. Honoring. This is sacred.
Yes.
Like we give in sometimes too quickly into that, instead of really bringing it up and enjoying and being at a place where we honor this.
Yes.
We honor our bodies.
Right. So you're talking about the sacredness of being a woman, and the gift that when we give our bodies away, what a gift that is, and really waiting and feeling our truth about that, and honoring the gift that we are, that we bring, and that the possibility of creation can come from that. I mean, how much more beautiful can that be? So I see where you're going now, to really use that in a way of the sacred. And I'm so careful now about points of view, because for me, I've made relationship very significant, and I see that often when I do that, it actually locks me into the opposite polarity of that. So I'm trying to not put good, bad, or shoulds or all that, just as an expanded looking of all the possibilities,
Yeah.
And but I love what you're talking about, because I have great love for my own womanhood and other women. I love working in women's circles. Oh my God, women coming together, opening a channel of energy.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Just they create a vortex of energy, and it's just the love and the sharing that can come. It's another orgasm. It's another type of orgasm. It's another creation. It's another beautiful calling for the sacred,
Yeah, I'm just so amazed by that right now, especially as I did a session yesterday with Mirabai, and I felt like this energy coming throughout, like if it was a birthing of some sort, and it was pleasurable. Yes. And it just came out like this, and it really, it really makes me more than ever see how we are divine beings, and how there's so many expressions of that sacred juice of our power, of the energy we emanate, and how they can burst in so many different forms, and how by honoring ourselves and being true in our partnerships, and in alignment and in integrity, and with ourselves and with others, how much more beauty exists and can coexist. And it's a choice of life. It's a choice, I feel, every day, to commit to something bigger, and it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to stay there in that alignment.
It is a choice. That's a really good point. We have the choices now, and we can choose life, and we can choose joy, and we can choose juiciness, and it's here for our taking. These are the gifts that are available right now. And see, when she had that experience, she had to be in her body. And then today, you don't even have to figure that out about what's coming, what you're birthing. You just tell the universe, I'm available for birthing. What's possible with this? What's the greatest good? What's the highest thing I can birth here? and then you wait.
Yeah.
And you don't even, but you see how she describes that feeling. You had to be in your body. You couldn't be analyzing that.
No.
You let the grace in.
Right.
And that's an embodiment. That's not like something that you're trying to figure out.
Yeah, and it's such a good point. Like the body, the being earthy, and at the same time from the astral, but combining the two. I think when it was in the 60s, it was all like airy-fairy and all the way up there, and now we grounded so much that we're in the mess that we're in. But now it's time for this right balance and meet in the heart and live from the heart.
Definitely living in the heart, in the body, connected to everything, and allowing and dropping judgment so that we can connect, and especially.
We so easily go there. Oh my goodness.
Oh well, yeah. So that's just any way we've done that to ourselves. Let's just let that go. And Access has this great clearing statement that sounds like gobbledygook, but you really can. There are tools now just to like stop beating yourself up and enjoy the ride, because you're on it, girl. You are on it big time.
And I feel we're all on this together. I'm so excited for, there's thousands and thousands of millions of people watching. And I just love it because we're all sharing this. And then this video might be shared to somebody else around the world. And it might be the exact right message that person needs to hear. And it's just like this communion, this co-creation as we're all sharing our truth, our essence, and living that essence. It's becoming this beautiful orchestra, this beautiful joy emanating. I just love it.
Well, we're finally getting we are one.
Yeah.
It is not a concept anymore. Even physics has proved it. So yeah, we are in this together. And if you're out there and you're having a hard time, ask a question to the universe for your highest good and see what comes, and be willing to receive. And anything is possible. I mean, how much better can it get, right?
How much better can it get, my beautiful co-creators? We send you much love from beautiful Kauai.
Aloha.
Aloha.